Today we'll dive into truly something magical, your intuition, that gut feeling you have about things but you ignore it. And if you ignore it, don't worry, you are not alone. We'll talk about 3 reasons why you ignore your intuition and 5 steps to increase it. So listen on. So first of all, let's talk about what is intuition. Intuition is this internal GPS system. It's something that we all have. It is that deep knowing that you have about things or people, what you should do, what you shouldn't do. It is this feeling you have. It's not really logical. That's the problem of intuition. It's not very logical. You just have this feeling that something is right or something is wrong. And in science, it's called pattern recognition. You know, like your subconscious will recognize some patterns that you are not even able to recognize on a logical level. Or spiritual teachers might call it inner wisdom. Whatever you call it, we all have it. And it is very important that we learn to work with it, because when we don't, inadvertently, we always pay the price. Trust me, including myself. So that's why I have focusing on learning how to work with my intuition better, because that is very important. So let me give you an example of, like, it can be something simple, like it doesn't have to be something huge. For example, maybe you are driving home and you have this weird feeling you should get off the freeway and take a road home. And then you decide to ignore this voice and you stay on a freeway only to get stuck in a horrible traffic for an hour, where you really knew deep inside that you were supposed to get off the freeway. I'll give you an example. A few years ago, I was driving on a freeway and I don't know why I had this feeling of, like, I'm going to stop by the store and buy this plant that I wanted to buy for a while. And I got off the freeway and literally, as soon as I got off, literally 30 seconds later, my tire blew up. And I was like, oh my God, this was amazing. So what I'm telling you, it was so much better because I was off the freeway already and I literally just pulled into the gas station. Imagine being stuck on a freeway like that. Well, that would not be fun. So my cat just came over. So what I'm saying is, like, whenever I listen to my intuition, I don't try not to question it. You just kind of do it, you know, and then you only see after why your intuition was guiding you a certain way. So let's talk now about 3 reasons why you ignore your intuition. So 3 reasons why you ignore your intuition. First of all, it is doubt. We doubt our intuition all the time. And why is that? It's because we are taught to prioritize logic, right? We are taught that logic is better than feelings. Therefore, if we do not have a logical explanation why we feel a certain way, then we ignore, our intuition because there's no good logic for it. So for example, if you're on a freeway, you will start to think like, oh, why should I get off the freeway? And if, it's supposed to be faster. So you start to doubt it because your logic does not have a good explanation for the feelings you have. So that's number 1, doubt. The second reason why you ignore your intuition is fear. And that fear might tie to actually 2 different things for most people. The fear, number 1, is that if you don't have a good logical reason of why you are making certain decision, we are worried that our society around us, our friends, our family will judge us, right? So let's say you are at the job interview, you get the job, and then something internally tells you that this is not the right job for you, but it is a great salary and it's close to where you live and it seems like a great career progression, and you take the job. But then a few months into it, you just know it's a disaster, and you know that you should have listened to your intuition, but you couldn't explain it to yourself. Logically, you could not explain it to your friends. There's also another fear that comes in here. It's fear of being wrong and also fear of missing out, right? Because what if you get this job? And what if there's no other job later? So that's fear. Or maybe this partner comes your way and you have a weird feeling about them, but then you're worried like, well, maybe that's the best that can come my way, and you're fearful of being alone. So you settle, even though your intuition was telling you that something was wrong. So fear. So it's the first one was doubt, the second one is fear, and the third huge reason why you ignore your intuition, that's a big one. It's distraction, because intuition is all about feelings. Like, it's the feeling you have, it's the insight you will get, it's the idea you will get that will pop up in your head. And if you are constantly distracted by, maybe constant noise around you, there's maybe you're always playing music, maybe always playing audiobooks, maybe always playing, some podcasts in the background. I know I used to have a lot of noise around me, and it can sometimes distract you from your own thoughts. And when you do that, you kind of disconnect yourself from the internal feelings that you have. So this distraction is really actually very, very bad, because when you're distracted, you cannot be connected to how you feel. So, it's like in the classic, maybe you were distracted when a thought came to your mind that would have been really life-changing, and you ignored that thought. Because there was so much noise around you, you tuned out this great idea that you had. So you have to be connected internally to the distraction. Try to take away distraction as much as possible. So I'll tell you what I did lately. In the past, I used to always have music playing around when I was driving, because I drive a lot. So the music around me would always distract me, or the podcast or whatever. So now I try to tune in more within and try to listen to my internal feelings and thoughts, because that's my guidance. So let's talk now about the 5 steps to increase your intuition. So the first one is really big, and that is create space for it. And how do you create space for it? You create space for it, but we're talking about before, finding some quiet time, like turn off the noise. Turn off the alerts on your phone. Give yourself even 5-10 minutes a day where you check in with yourself how you feel about something. Maybe if you are making a big decision, check in with yourself. Like just meditate on it, think about it, do certain things like that. So the silence around you and the silence like within you, where you allow your thoughts to come in and your feelings to come in, that is the key. The step number 2 is to trust it, because intuition is like a muscle. So the more you listen to it, the more it will serve you. And the more you strengthen your intuition muscle, the more it will guide you. And it can be something simple, like maybe the little nudges you get, like maybe what should you eat today, or maybe what movie you should watch, or what book you should read, or maybe you get a nudge to call your friend. Listen to those little nudges, trust them, because often some of the best things that happen in my life is when I listen to those little nudges. The next step is release judgment. And I think to release judgment ties into the trusting it, because you cannot judge, don't question like why you feel a certain way. Don't question like, why do I feel like calling my friend right now? That doesn't make any sense. I just talked to her, 2 days ago. So release judgment, because intuition doesn't speak in logic. It will speak to you in feelings that you get, in the little ideas that pop up in your head, and just purely trust it, because it's going to guide you. So that is very important. The next one is like ask the right questions. And very often when we have to make a decision, we ask ourselves questions of like, what do I think about it? And not so much how do I feel about it? And the problem with what do I think about this is that people or things or decisions that are made on logic very often turn out to be wrong, because your feelings, your subconscious mind know a lot more than your logic can tell you. And I can give you examples of, like, I had a friend who had this weird feeling about taking on a job with this big company, and she had this weird feeling, but she killed this intuition she had. She took the job, moved out of state, and then found out that the company went totally under a few months later. So if she had listened to this intuition that she had, she would not have made this bad decision, right? So logic is great, and I'm all for logic, but we have to incorporate logic with the intuition piece, where we ask ourselves, how do I truly feel about it? Like, your gut instinct will tell you what you should do. And then the fifth step that's also very important is to practice gratitude. Because when you practice gratitude, when you're grateful for those little nudges that you get, you will get more intuition as you go along. So for example, when I got this nudge to get off the freeway right before my tire blew up a few years ago, trust me, I was very grateful. And I don't even know why I listened to it. Why? It was not like get off the freeway. It was more like, oh, I feel like I want to buy this flower, this plant that is in the store of this exit. So I listened to it. And if I had not listened to it, I would be stuck on a freeway with a tire that blew up and a stuck car, which is never safe. So what I'm saying is listen to it and be grateful. Be grateful for every little intuition that you get. You know, sometimes can be something like little like, okay, I should leave 5 minutes later, and maybe you avoid the traffic. Then you realize, you know, maybe you, I don't know, there's something that happened on your street that maybe you avoided a big accident. So be grateful. And the call to action is, so remember that intuition is a gift. So it's a GPS, right? We have to fine tune it. We have to work with it. We have to listen to it. We have to be grateful for it. So what I want you to do starting forward, be grateful for your intuition. Type below, I trust my inner guidance. I trust my inner guidance. And maybe make it your affirmation. I trust my inner guidance. Because when you trust your inner guidance, the more you trust it, the more nudges you will get. And just be open. In the morning, when you get out of bed, tell yourself, affirm, today I'll trust my inner guidance. And thank you for watching. If this message resonated with you, please like, share, and subscribe. And I will see you in my next video. Bye.